Africa. Welcome to Afternoon Express. I'm Bonnie Booley.
And I'm Danilo Cristo. Warm welcome to Afternoon Express. And can I just say that this look is incredible? I've never seen you wear a purple look before. Is it the first time ever?
Yes, it is the first time. Do I look fat?
No, you look amazing. Looks absolutely really cool.
I'm hanging around Jeannie too much because that's the question she asks all day, every day.
Damn, that layered look is looking absolutely insane. By the way, if you guys want to get any of these looks that we're wearing on Afternoon Express, you can head over to our Facebook page or to our website after the live show. All the details on what we were wearing, specific items, how we got them,
Facebook,
where they
Twitter,
are.
and Instagram.
Indeed, so make sure you catch up with that.
We're also joined by one of the legends of South African TV, film, and stage, Mr. Joe Mafela. You'll remember him on Sgudi Snyasi. Right? You remember that?
I totally remember that. Yeah. Growing up as a child, that was always a thing that was playing on my television screens. And a show that's as old as I am, has celebrating its 25th birthday today. Noot for Noot is here in our loft. Well, Noot for Noot's legend, Johan Stemmet, is in the loft with us today. So the loft is filled with all of these absolute classic legends. I feel slightly intimidated, to be honest.
Yeah, I also feel intimidated by how gorgeous Jeannie looks today.
Thank you. Well, it is Tuesday, and I affectionately would rather call it Shoesday, so to speak. And every time I'm stuck in the kitchen, nobody ever gets to see my outfit, which has got to change. So today, we absolutely have all the TV legends here in our loft, which means we've got to bake them a seriously great chocolate cake. And nobody is better for that job than Lexi. Welcome.
Thank you.
Now, chocolate cake is a chocolate cake is a chocolate cake. I must be honest, I'm not the chocolate cake fundi. Well, what are you making that's different?
Today we are making the best ever chocolate chiffon cake. It is light and chocolatey, but also just, it's just the best.
Okay, good. No pressure, but it has to be. I'm not a big chocolate cake fan.
I'm confident in my
When it comes to cake, I'm a carrot cake girl. So, yeah, this is going to be amazing. I'm so excited about this today. Now, Joe Mafela made his acting debut in 1964 when he appeared in the feature film Real News. At the age of 22, and in the 50 years since, he has solidified his name as one of the greats in South African entertainment. Now, not only on screen, but also in the recording studio with 5 albums released. Probably his most iconic work, though, would have to be his portrayal as Sdumo in the classic sitcom Scoo, Goody, Sgudi Snyasi.
Flashbacks of so many amazing memories just hearing that title sequence. Can I tell you a story about this show? Okay. So it used to play on a weeknight, right? And I used to watch it, my siblings and I, every night like this, every time it played. And in the morning, when we were getting ready for school, we'd ask each other, where's my socks? Or have you seen my blazer? Or have you seen my shoes? And my mom would always say to us, Hambi obuzu Sdumo. Go and ask Sdumo. Welcome to the loft. Lovely to have you with us.
No, thank you.
What does that evoke when you hear that title sequence? What comes to mind? What do you think of?
I only think of Sgudi Snyasi, of course, because I enjoyed doing that show.
Yes.
It was a marvel to be in it or to just act into it,
Yeah, it was such a classic show and such a timeless show that even if it was on today, it would still be as funny and as relevant.
That's it, The humor there just came out like that, I mean, it was written by... but definitely we just performed and lived the characters, which is beautiful.
Are you still in touch with some of the performers?
Well, most of them are late. I think the only one who is around is Tembim Charlie, and of course Goody.
Yes.
And Latkasha. That's all it is. Otherwise, the rest are gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What inspired your love for the performing arts?
Well, it's passion. It's passion, more than any other thing. Love of doing what I'm doing and being disciplined and hardworking and concentrate and, everything. Just everything all round.
And you grew up in Limpopo, right? And you had this dream growing up. Was it were there any opportunities around you to perform or to grow your art? So what did you do to grow yourself and to keep yourself inspired?
I just learned, as I went on. My whole evolution was learning and executing, and that's all it is to it, doing that. In entertainment field, I went for theory. That was in 1960. And then 3 years after that, 1964, I went into films, feature films.
Yes.
And I did behind the scenes then, seeing that, well, I wasn't as big as having to go in front of camera.
Right.
But I went behind scenes, to know exactly more than what you've got to do when you are, in front of camera.
So 50 years later, and you've actually basically been a part of every aspect of television and entertainment and filmmaking.
Everything.
Producing, writing, every single thing.
Editing, I want to tell you, there's nothing I haven't done.
Wow.
There's nothing I haven't done.
And of all these experiences, which one stands out for you the most? Which one is the most unforgettable that you'd want to relive?
It's obvious, it's acting.
It's acting, yeah.
Yes.
Are there still any dream roles that you have in mind?
No, I don't. I take them as they come and say, well, will I execute this? Then I go for it.
Yes. Now, when you were starting out and you were younger, apartheid was in full force. How did you not allow the political climate at the time to not kill your dream? How did you keep that passion going despite what was around you and what you were seeing around you?
I want to tell you, it was in, I think, 1965, if not 66, a legislation came around that we shouldn't perform in front of a white audience without a permit or a mixed audience without a permit, vice versa. And that cut us off from doing your cabarets, in Hillbrow and what have you. And that's when Gibson had to start Township Theatre.
Right.
You see, and then we also we already started Zumba as a musical because of all the overseas producers coming around and say, look, we need something here of traditional, either Zulu or Sotho or Xhosa, whatever is traditional. And then we decided to produce a musical called Mzumba with Solomon Vudugundan being the producer and I was co-producer.
Wow.
So we did that. And then from there, because we couldn't perform to, to white audiences or mixed audiences, we had to say, look, what do we do? Let's go on the road. So we went to Botswana, and then we went to Zambia, and then we went to Zimbabwe as well. That was 67, 66, 67, 68. We were on the road right around, even South Africa.
Wow. And you were part of the first black feature film to ever be made in this country.
Yes.
Duliwe. Tell us about that.
That came about Ellen Gainey. Ellen Gainey said, look, guys, he put us together. I think we were about a dozen of us. And he said, I want something which is black, and we need a black director.
And was that revolutionary at the time?
Yes,
was that unheard of?
And at the time, we had your Ken Gampu being our #1 black artist in South Africa. We felt, Braken, I think you should direct. And Braken said, I've never done it before and I'm not going to do it. And then we said, well, second in command it's Simon Sabela. Simon Sabela, at the time, he was an assistant director in the movie Fort Tracker. And we said, well, you have done assistant directing in that, so definitely we've got an idea. And we said, anyway, we are going to help you.
Yes.
Because of all the experience which we're having around us. So Jaliwa was born. It was a radio series, so it was put together by Osis Pindi, took all the episodes of radio and comprised and made up a movie out of it.
Wow.
Yes.
That's absolutely incredible. And 50 years is so much to talk about in just one interview. We're going to be right back to chat more about your experiences in the entertainment industry.
No, thanks.
Remember, if you have any questions or comments for our guests today, then tweet us at Afternoon Chat using the hashtag Afternoon Express. Comment on our Facebook page or give us a call on 083 913 3728. After the break, we're back with more from Joe Mafela and we get cooking in the kitchen. Today, we're showing you how to make the best ever chocolate chiffon cake. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Afternoon Express. So, having seen some of the legends that we are having in the studio and in the loft today, we are going to make the Sgudi Snyasi chocolate cake. But forgive me for asking, we're going to make a chiffon chocolate cake. The last time I checked, chiffon was fabric.
No. Chiffon is it's a kind of cake that is light and airy. And
okay, so light like the fabric, in other words. Maybe it got
But what's nice about it is that it's so light that you can eat like the whole cake and then not feel bad. So
oh, no, please don't say that to me because that's a challenge.
It's the answer.
Okay.
So 3 basic steps. We're going to mix our egg yolks and our oil together. We're going to mix our cocoa powder and our hot water together.
Yes.
We're going to mix those together, fold them into our dry ingredients, and that's our cake mix.
All right.
So
I know you
easy.
like to get me working in the kitchen.
Yes.
But you can mess up a cake. I know with cooking you can have flair and you can throw in a little bit of this, bit of that. But baking is like a science. You've got to stick to, the right order of things.
Yes, you've got to stick to the right ingredients. So as long as you don't mess up your measurements, I'm just mixing in my oil with my egg yolks over here. And while you're whisking, I'm going to chat about that.
Okay.
As long as you don't mix up your measurements, you should be all right. The other kind of terrible thing in baking to do is to stand and chat like you and I are doing and continue to mix for 10 minutes and mix and mix and mix and mix all the air out of your cake, and then you end up with a stodgy brick. But, you know, at the end of the day, if it's not 100% perfect, as long as it tastes good, that's kind of...
Now, is there a right way to whisk? I mean, am I doing this right?
No, you just want to mix it all together.
Okay,
so I've mixed my cocoa and my hot water together. What we're going to do is leave this to cool. You've mixed our oil and egg yolks together.
Yes.
I've got my dry ingredients in my sieve here. And we're just going to whisk these together. Oh, I've forgotten to add my sugar.
No,
so we add our sugar in.
That.
Now, with a chiffon cake, I know it's a pain, and I know we're always in a rush to do everything super quickly. You need to to sieve your ingredients at least 3 times. Now, the reason for this is so that you can get the maximum amount of air into your flour, because chiffon cake tin.
Exactly.
And you also want to make sure all your ingredients are really well kind of distributed.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you don't have to take it out of the bowl and whisk and sieve it into another bowl. Just, you know, I mean, you get the kind of idea of what we're doing here.
Exactly.
So, there we go. Our dry ingredients are all sieved. Now what I'm going to do is get you to whisk while I pour the cocoa and water mixture in with our oil and egg yolk.
Okay.
There we go. So that's nice and incorporated. So I'm going to lean over you. And now we are going to mix that in with our dry ingredients over here. So
now I'm going to pour and you're going to mix.
Yes. Well, what I'm going to do is...
I am a pourer.
I'm actually going to take this from you.
Okay, go for it.
And you're going to pour. And you're just going to go chuck it all in one go.
Okay, good.
If you do it in bits and pieces, then you end up kind of mixing it into a stodgy kind of handful.
Okay. No, we don't want that.
So you just want to mix this all together until you've got a nice smooth cake mixture. So while I'm doing this, Jeannie, I'm going to ask you to come over here and just finish whisking my egg whites.
Great.
I've got 7 egg whites in this bowl. We've put a bit of cream of tartar in, and that's just going to hold the egg whites together, so when it bakes, you keep that lovely kind of light texture. So I've whisked it up a bit, so you can just... There we go.
Okay. There
Give
you
it
go.
a last...
And then this is going to, I'm guessing, be folded into that.
Yes.
You see, I do concentrate.
Exactly. Right. So before you cover the entire kitchen in egg whites, I'm going to ask you to turn that off. Absolute mayhem in the kitchen today.
Would you like me to test if it's ready?
You can, but I'm not taking responsibility.
I won't.
Okay. So you're going to start by putting half in first.
All right.
The reason for this is so that you don't completely mix everything all in together and ruin our light and airy vibe. Yeah. So the first half you can kind of get a little bit stuck in, and you want to mix it all in until it's nicely incorporated. Don't forget about the bottom of the bowl. That's what I'm looking for. Often, you know, you spend you spend so often mixing like this, and then all the mixture's kind of stuck at the bottom. So now that that's incorporated, you can chuck the other half in. There we go. And you can see that I'm not going to completely stir this to death. I'm just going to incorporate the egg whites until they are in, but if you still see them, it's not the end of the world. Okay, so there you go. You can see that we've got a lovely mixture. It's not very dark. You can still see a few patches of egg whites, but I'm all right with that because that's going to keep our cake nice and airy. So, in the essence of time, I've pre-baked a cake for us, so I can show you how the chiffon cake tin works. But you're going to take your batter, pour it into a chiffon cake tin, chuck it into your oven at about 160 degrees. Once your cake is done...
Oh, and the magic of TV, you've already done it.
Exactly, look at that.
Legend.
Voila.
There you go.
This is a chiffon cake tin. Do not spray the inside of the cake tin. Do not line it. You're going to pull it out of the oven, and you're going to leave it to rest just like this. It's not going to fall out of the tin. All right.
Great, excellent. Keeping things light and fluffy in the kitchen today with this delicious chocolate cake. We're going to see what that turns out like in a little while. But first, Bonnie's on the couch with our very next guest.
Thank you, Jeannie. We're back on the couch with South African legend, Joe Mafela. So you didn't stop only at acting. That wasn't enough for you. You went on to release 5 albums.
Well, when you're an actor, you must be able to sing, you must be able to dance, you must be...
Yeah, I can do that. So how did you get into music? What was the conversation
No, what
that
happened,
sparked
what
it?
prompted that, it was Carlo said, Joe, the Africa Cup of Nations is coming the following year, so we would like to come up with an album. You know, I said, okay, no problem. So I came up with Shebeleza and a few other, you know, items in that.
Yeah.
You know, they created a complete album.
Wow. Speaking of Shebeleza, we just have a quick clip to show you. Take a look at this. To mind when you look at that?
Well, it's just...
you had so much energy.
I had fun with that, you know. Especially at the stadium on the day when we beat Tunisia. We played that, and I was all in white, and I was running all over that stadium.
I think I remember that.
Yes, which was quite nice, you know. Wow. And the response from the audience, you know, singing together. I mean, that was just something.
What inspired that song? And the whole album, indeed.
Yeah, it was, that song actually is because of Congo, you know, Lumumba. When Lumumba revolutionized the Congolese to go, you know, up in arms and what have you. And then that happened then, you know. And I actually, when I was touring Zambia, you know, then I felt about that song. I said, that is one song which is, you know, it's Africa.
Yes.
You know, it's Africa.
Yes.
Yes.
Wow. And it was received very well. Did you expect it to do so well? Were you surprised at the reaction?
I was surprised that, you know, it just hit gold in 2 weeks after release.
Wow.
You know, it was just a surprise. And wherever I went, it was just Shebeleza. I said, wow, that's good.
I'm going to teach my kids that song, actually. I think it's a very important song to know. But what a lot of people also don't know is that you then received high success in the advertising industry and even won an award.
Yes.
As creative director.
Yes.
Which particular campaign was this for, and what was your highest point?
Well, no, without mentioning a product, but because I was creative director in BBDO, and they said, Joe, come up with a concept with these sweets, you know, and I said, okay. I came up with a concept. We're actually going for the account. And we said, look, we're not even going to write a script about it. No copy, no nothing. I'll just act it.
Wow.
You know, and the whole boardroom was full there.
It on the spot.
And then they said, well, Joe, come up with the concept. I came up and I went with the concept, and the account came. Yes, it worked. And from there, we made a commercial, and the commercial won the Grand Prix in the Lurie Awards, which was...
But, I mean, how did you keep doing this? How did you keep just reinventing yourself, deciding that, you know what, next I'm going to do this and I'm going to be great at it, and then it would just happen? What is it inside you that drives you?
It's just talent. And
it's just talent.
It's just talent.
And now your acting days are not over. You're on Generations now.
Yes.
Tell us about your role on Generations.
Well, my role in Generations is quite simple, which is an old man.
Nothing you do is simple, so you're not going to convince me of that.
I'm Tebogo's, uncle there, it's a nice role for me,
Yeah.
Because I'm just reprimanding everybody.
Chicana.
Yeah, Chicana. That's a nice part of it, So, I mean, it's a difference from having to portray roles, where you've got to create humor and to let people laugh. That's a difference.
How does that feel for you when you're not in that comedic role and you're now playing a very serious role, like the role you played in Retribution?
Yeah, you see, the thing is, people didn't know that I can play some other roles, which I did play serious roles before. In Mighty Men, I played a very serious role. Being in the underground mafia kind of stuff, being the boss in there, which was beautiful. It's a pity they couldn't carry on with that kind of series. But I mean, I play any role you bring to me, and they say, go for it. I mean, Retribution was like part of that kind of.
Yes, hence I mentioned,
whereby they just said, Joe, no humor here, no stretching your faces or doing whatever, no ways.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. And I know you're still going to inspire South African audiences for years.
No, thank you.
Remember, if you have any questions or comments for our guests today, then tweet us at Afternoon Chat. And don't forget our official hashtag Afternoon Express. Comment on our Facebook page or give us a call on 0839133728. After the break, we're chatting to South Africa's best-loved game show host, Johan Stemmet, who has brought us Noot for 25 years. Don't go away.
Welcome back to Afternoon Express. Now today, old school is oh so cool on Afternoon Express. Our next guest is one of the most recognizable faces in South Africa, being the presenter and co-creator of the longest running game show on South African television, Noot vir Noot, which celebrates its 25th anniversary this year. He's also a multi-award winning singer, songwriter and producer, and undoubtedly one of the living legends on the South African entertainment industry. Johan Stemmet, welcome to Afternoon Express. It's good to have you.
Such a brilliant opening. Do it again.
Joining us today on Afternoon Express is one of the... No, I'm kidding. We won't even go that way.
What a privilege. Thank you. Nice to be with you.
It feels like such an honor because, I mean, you have been on the show for as long as I've been alive, 1991 when the show came on air, 25 years. You still remained relevant. It still happens to break records and win awards. What is it about Noot vir Noot that you think has really kept itself going for so long?
Sure. I wish I really knew, because I think if you've got the recipe, you can make a lot of hit shows, and you don't really have a recipe for something like that. It just falls in place. I think it's the interactivity of it. And I'm very, very flattered that you say we keep relevant, because that is our aim. We try to reinvent ourselves the whole time. There must be evolution. The moment there's no evolution, it stagnates. When it stagnates, it goes. So we bring in new music. We bring in... well, anything that's new that can help the show, new games, a new look, it comes from time to time.
It takes an absolute brilliant eye to manage to make that happen. So before we go any further with this interview, I have to show the rest of South Africa how the process of Noot vir Noot has been over the last 25 years. Take a look.
Baie dankie, welkom ook hier van my kant af. Dis my voorreg om vanaand die noot aan te gee. Hier op Noot vir Noot verruil ons kontantnote vir musieknote. Ja, nee. Vanaand gaan die poppe dans. Ja! Kies vir jou blokkie. Vingers op die knoppies. Ja! Dan kies vir jou blokkie. Uit watter liedjie kom daai reël? Uit watter liedjie uitkom? Kies vir jou blokkie. Daar sê. Vingers op die knoppies. Nee!
What a journey it must have been for you. I mean, really being part of the show. And I must go right back to the beginning, sitting down in that room with a bunch of producers who said, let's put our money where our mouth is and make this show happen. I mean, did you ever expect that 25 years later you'd still be on screen?
No, you never expect something like that to happen. It's just, as I said just now, it's just one of those things that it just happened. It just kept going and kept happening. And the interesting thing is that our audience got older and older. And I was listening to Joe just now saying a lot of the actors who acted with him have all passed on and so on. And our audiences have all passed on over here. And a very interesting thing happened about 5, 6, 7 years ago. We noticed that the average age of our contestants were just getting older and older and older. And then suddenly when we thought, well, there we can see the line now. The very next series, the average age dropped from about 38 to 19, 20, 21. And we realized a new generation has come on board. And music is internationally. As long as you nurture the game and you look after it, it can stay relevant. Yes. I won't stay relevant forever, but the game can.
But you've managed to do that yourself, and I think it's absolutely fascinating that you've remained so relevant. I will never forget all of the flamboyant waistcoats that you've worn on that show. I mean, inspired lots of South Africans around the way that you've sort of had lots of fun. But you haven't aged a day. Which is really cool is that yesterday we had a show about anti-aging and a whole bunch of methods. We have to know who you go and see because, like, it's amazing.
Now, you know what the thing is? That's a very interesting statement that you've just made. I've been on television now for 35 years, non-stop. From 1980, I was on without skipping a year. So people have seen me from 1980, and if you look at the people around you, you don't notice that they get old because you get old with them. So if I was off for 10 years and then came back, people would say, you see. But you age with your audience, and then they don't notice it.
I don't know if I believe that, because I went to go and search the web, and I found some very interesting photos of some familiar references that I think you kind of look like. If you put these two together, you would have seen them together. Can you look on this side? And that 1 + 1 equals basically you. John Travolta's even in there.
Yeah, but I think John Travolta is younger than me.
He looks about 10 years old, but we won't tell him that. We won't tell him that.
Must give it to me in writing.
Noot for Noot is just such an incredible show. I mean, it's really taken audiences on a whole journey throughout its whole series. 41 seasons, I think you're in this year.
Yeah.
Season number 41, which is absolutely amazing. You've had some incredible winners over that period. One of the ones that I'll never forget is Mr. Badenhorst.
Oh, Dankie, yes.
Yeah, Dankie. What happened with that win, and how are they chosen?
You know, we do auditions. We audition about 6,000 people in a year, and we use 64. So the guys that come there are really, really good. You get people, everybody listens to music all the time. You listen to it in your motor car anyway. But some guys have got the ability that when a song gets played, they just want to know who sings it. Yes. They want to know what the lyrics are. They remember the tune. And those are the guys that normally do very well. They just absorb the whole thing around the song that they're listening to.
And you've witnessed this throughout the whole years, all of the winners that have been through the Noot for Noot series. Do you get a lot of phone calls from your friends asking you to be part of their pub quizzes all the time?
Yes, I do actually. Yeah. But I wouldn't advise them to try me because I'm limited to the stuff that I know. Yeah. I'm not a music. I haven't got a huge music knowledge. I'm limited to the Noot for Noot type of thing, which is the middle of the road thing, and. I like jazz, I like Portuguese fado, I like listening to classical guitar. But my knowledge is just around the Noot for Noot thing. And as I say, we work with the top of the pop songs, you know, the hits, the top 10 songs,
Amazing. Well, we want to talk more about your music side of your background, more of your personal life as we get into the next part of our chat a little bit later on. So I hope you're not going to go anywhere because the show is clearly not either.
Great.
After the break, it's Nog 'n Nookie with Johan Stemmet as we chat about some of his other projects and we put the finishing touches on our best ever chocolate chiffon cake. Remember, if you have any questions or comments for our guest today, then you can tweet us at Afternoon Chat using that hashtag Afternoon Express. Comment on our Facebook page or give us a call 083 913 3728. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Afternoon Express. I'm pretty sure that everyone at home is feeling this nostalgia that we're feeling in the loft today. We've got absolute legends. And I'm joined on the couch by Johan Stemmet, the host of, for 25 years already and still running, of Noot for Noot. And we've asked you guys to send your comments and your questions. And we got one from Anne Hirsch, who says, please can you ask Johan, where's his waistcoat? I'll give him 50 randjies, not even rands, 50 randjies to bring them back.
Anne Hirsch is coming on our show soon as one of the celebrity contestants. If I had any of those waistcoats, I will give them to you with pleasure. They were great fun to wear those. It's all about the what and the how in television. You know, what are you going to do? What's the content of the show? And the how is, how are you going to colour this in to get people talking?
Exactly.
And the waistcoats just worked. People talk. But the funny thing is I wore them for 2 seasons. out of the 41 seasons, I just wore them for 2, and people still talk about them. But we tried to go as loudly as we could. We really went way out. I wouldn't wear them in street, I promise you. But we wore them and we got people talking.
I think people are excited to. I think people want to know. They wonder when's the line going to come out, when's the Noot for Noot line of waistcoats going to come out. It's a new business venture. We know that's what you're about as well. It's good. It was
great fun. But I'm keeping them for Anne Hirsch, and she'll probably wear one on the show when she appears. Hey, Annie?
Looking forward to that episode, aren't we? So, Johan, let's get a sort of a background check on your life as growing up. I mean, you weren't, like you said, you've been in TV for almost 35 years, you said. I think it's 35 years
Yeah, in
now.
July it'll be 35 years.
It's crazy. It's so scary, and it's amazing to see that. I'm really, really proud of you for doing that. But, I mean, you studied law, and you studied education, and you were a teacher for many years as well.
Yeah, I taught at Ronnebusch Boys High School, just around the corner.
Yeah, so talk to me more about that sort of, that journey from being a teacher to like, hey, wait, I want to work in production.
I was always involved in music. Ever since I was a young kid, I used to play in one-man bands and things, and I played in hotels, and just was always involved. And then I got involved in writing music, also at a young age. But then in the late 70s, there was an Afrikaans music movement called die Luisterliedjie Beweging, Musiek en Lyriek Beweging. And I was involved in that, and went to a music symposium at the SABC, and I was offered a job there, and I had to decide between teaching and going to television. So my headmaster, Mr. Reela, at that stage said to me, listen, you've got 3 months long leave. Go and take your long leave. Go and try the television thing. If you don't like it, I'll keep your post for you. So I'm still on long leave, 35 years.
Is that post still available? Let's hope so. Those LPs that we've just seen, I think we've just put them up on screen right now, are just such a great memory, I'm sure, for you to travel through as you've seen them happen. And I mean, your music career was also a big passion of yours. Was there, like, you can look at some of those pictures on the screen now. Sure, hey?
Just look at that.
Must bring back so many memories as the process goes. Those glasses, that hair, I won't say anything.
Scared. That was, I made my first record in those days in, what was 1972, I think. And I did, I think, 13 albums. I was very involved in the music scene, recording and performing and so on. But at one stage, when Noot for Noot was, we sold the format to London Weekend Television. And it involved me going over to London quite a lot. And it started, I had to make a choice. You can't have 2 careers like this, because if you sing, you've got to tour, you've got to perform. And if it's television, you do television, So I had to make a choice, and it wasn't an easy choice, but I had to just break and say, okay, it's just television. And
so you took a bit of a gamble with it in so many ways. And is that the inspiration for the new show, Musiek Roulette?
Musiek Roulette is a fun show. It's we were looking for a sister program for Noot for Noot, and we got a brilliant presenter in Nadine to do it for us. And the show we're doing the 3rd season now in June, so it's really starting to take off. It's a fun little show. It's different to Noot for Noot, but it's still a music game show. Yeah.
Music will remain timeless no matter which generation you come from. It'll always speak to somebody, which I think is the key ingredient that you've got there. I also know that both of your sons also got into the TV industry as well. I think one of them still a director, if I'm not mistaken.
The thing is, they grew up in television, with me being in television all these years, and they were both involved with as kid presenters, children presenters on various channels. And Etienne, my youngest, he went into, well, my youngest, he's 30 now, he went into computers, he's into web design. And Carl, my eldest, he's working with me. He went to AFDA and he did a degree in motion picture media. And then he went to Tukkies and he did his honours degree there in drama, and then he did a master's degree in script writing and directing. So he was the ideal guy to pull in. But he's doing his own projects within our company. He's doing animation. He did the very first Afrikaans animation series with Andile Radebe. It went out on SABC3, your channel.
Yes.
It went out on the YouTube channel, and it's still available there, a 13-part series. Animation, so he's doing his own thing, but within the company, and we use him.
Totally. So it wasn't necessarily to say, like, hey, like my dad's doing it, I want to do it too. I think he found his own niche and found his talent and his passion. So much you loved it and then wanted to continue those footsteps in so many different ways. You know, I'm just so inspired by your career and the way that you've sort of progressed. And I have to ask you the question. I mean, you've been in the TV industry for, first of all, longer than I've been alive, but also through so many generations of South Africans, and the way that our process has moved from apartheid to sort of democracy and now moving on from that sort of stage. Where have you seen the TV industry move and where is it going towards? What are you proud of? What are you really holding on to?
I was so sad just now when I heard Joe speak about the licenses that they had to perform with audiences. It made me very sad to think that there was a time like that, because if you look at the opportunities now, where this is a thing of Noot for Noot as well. I was just picked up I came by taxi from, and Rwanda. I had a guy from Rwanda was driving the taxi, and he said to me, Noot for Noot. And I said to him, you're from Rwanda, how do you know this?
Yeah.
He says, they watch it. And I realized what we sort of started realizing a long time ago is, why would you want to make a program for a select little audience if you've got this huge footprint? And with the huge footprint of audiences, you've got to adapt to serve those audiences. But apart from that, the opportunities come with the more channels that are available. So your market gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And there's no constraints nowadays that forces you to just pull for a certain market. I also, when we started off with Noot for Noot, the brief was Afrikaans audiences, Afrikaans music. But we're talking about 25 years ago. Since then, the thing has just grown and grown and grown. And I remember when TV1, which we were on, changed to the SABC 1, 2, and 3, we were called in by the then chair lady of the board, and she said to us, there's a few things that works. Sport works, and music works. And if you can take your little music program and you can focus on the huge footprint that is available with SABC2, there is no reason why you can't just blossom. And we actually did that, and our market really grew and grew and grew. Another big thing that happened for us in SABC2 was they moved the schedules, and the Sesotho news followed just on Noot for Noot. Noot for Noot was 7:30 in those days. And we found that we were seeing Sotho audiences joining Noot for Noot 5 minutes before the news starts. And then we saw, but it's now 20 minutes. And eventually we saw in the ARs that they're actually joining us as Noot for Noot starts. Those audiences are there. So it's your duty to cater for them as well.
Absolutely.
We always say we are not an Afrikaans program. We're an international program in the sense that we use any music. But we present the program in Afrikaans. And I had this beautiful thing with the Indian guy once who came up to me, and he couldn't speak Afrikaans, but he was now trying to speak to me in Afrikaans. And I switched to English, and he keeps speaking Afrikaans. I said to him, do you watch Noot for Noot? He says, ons miss dit nooit nie. We don't miss it ever. I said to him, but do you understand what's happening then? He said, every Friday night I understand a little bit more. And that was great, because if the program can do that, if there can be a continuous transition, that it appeals to everybody, it doesn't matter what language you present it in. If I have a isiZulu contestant, say, which I have had before, I speak a smattering of isiZulu, but I will speak to him. If it's an English contestant, I'll speak to him, because we mustn't tie the program down to a certain language. The music is international, universal. So
and the teacher
it must
in you,
appeal to
and the
everybody.
teacher in you must be feeling so proud of that too, because your show is not just about entertainment value; it's also about connecting with audiences, which I love the most. When can we catch Noot for Noot, and when can we catch Musiek Roulette?
Noot for Noot is at the moment on. It's 8 o'clock, SABC2 on a Friday evening, and Musiek Roulette will just follow it. It's still, we're halfway there now. We had the Dutch group BZN on last week, so if you want to talk about the golden oldies, there they were. But now this week we've got Khan of the Parlotones, he's singing there. So we try and keep our artists as well relevant to what the people want. We're even going to get a special artist for Anne Hirsch when she comes, but I'll keep that a secret for her.
Oh, Anne had better beware for one of these. Johan, it's been such an honor having you with us in the loft. I must shake your hand.
What a privilege. What a privilege. Thank you.
We'll feed you, I promise. Jeannie's making something delicious.
Oh my goodness, no pressure in the kitchen, but we've got to get this cake very good for Johan Stemmet.
Yes.
Okay, chocolate, chiffon, we've got ganache, we've got cream, and now we've got to plate this thing. How do we do it?
Cake's out of the oven. I've let it cool. I've run a knife around the inside of the cake tin. Don't forget to run the knife around this little inside bit.
Okay.
I'm going to turn it upside down and just force it out.
It just pops out. Perfect.
Why not? Then you can run the knife along the top. If the cake does kind of bake out of the bottom of the tin, you can trim the bottom off, but I mean, then you get less cake. So,
well, then we can eat
use
it in
it,
the kitchen.
don't use it, exactly.
Okay.
And
perfect.
what I love about chiffon cakes is that they just come out looking so
yeah, it looks
perfect.
fabulous, exactly.
Now, I'm going to put the spoon aside because we need a ladle for this job.
All right.
I've just got a bowl of chocolate ganache. I've just melted together some plain chocolate and cream.
Oh,
And
Lexi, that looks magic.
it is the absolute bomb.
And
So you're
actually,
just
it's
gonna
perfect weather
ladle-
for it as well. Aren't there cold fronts coming in everywhere? So it's chocolate cake weather. I mean,
Yes.
eat this for dinner. Why not? Oh, that is sensational.
Okay, so our chocolate ganache has been poured over.
I'm literally salivating as we speak.
Oh man, it's so good.
Okay.
Now what
Next
we're going
up.
to do, little serving suggestion, cut a slice. For me, chocolate cake is not chocolate cake if it's not served with cream.
Oh, look how good and moist that looks on the inside. That looks amazing.
We're going to
Okay.
chuck it on a plate. You're going to give us a dollop of cream.
Where? On the slice or on,
On
the
the
cake?
slice.
Is this what we're serving?
Yes.
This is our serving suggestion. Okay. On the cake?
Yes, just chuck it on.
Okay.
And then, if you're going to be all glamorous and chocolatey, why not add a little bit of gold? So
Yes,
there we go. You can
the
do the
fairy
honors.
dust. This is definitely my kind of
This is just some plain
job.
edible gold dust. You get it at any baking shop. Hey, look at that.
I'm basically magic.
Exactly. I mean, Nigella, who is she?
I'm going to do this again because, well,
We'll
nobody
do it on
ever
our
said they
cake
had
now.
enough gold.
Do it on the side of the cake as well.
Okay. Yeah, I'm
Why not? But for me, it's a really simple cake. You've just got the basic sponge, the chocolate ganache.
can go all
the
over me too, I
cream.
don't mind.
You can't lose out.
This is absolutely magic. Remember, this recipe is live and available on our website, afternoonexpress.co.za, and this gold dust is definitely going to be on your shopping list this week. I mean, this is absolutely magic. We'll be right back after this.
A warm welcome back to Afternoon Express. So I'm very excited because I got to meet so many of you not too long ago announcing something big coming to Afternoon Express. Make sure you catch the 3rd season of Winner Home right here on Afternoon Express. Follow our 3 young designers every weekday from the 16th of May as they turn 3 empty apartments into dream homes with expert color advice from Clascon to create on-trend living spaces and luxurious Caesarstone surfaces. All at the award-winning Valdevie estate, conveniently located in the Cape Winelands. Enter the grand prize competition, which is a home, on privateproperty.co.za, and you, the viewer, stand a chance to win one of the completed apartments. Win a Home is proudly brought to you by Private Property in proud association with Nedbank. It's going to be huge.
The only question I want to know is, can I enter?
I was about to say, what incredible
T's and
prize
C's on the
Yeah,
website,
amazing.
everybody. T's and C's. So basically, the guys who enter, all the designers, get to win spot prizes as they go through the competition, and we're going to be giving away, like, a home.
I know.
Wow,
How
that's
crazy.
incredible. So how many people came to Decorex just to meet you?
And quite a few, actually. Excuse me, is this like putting me on the spot? Quite a
Yeah,
few, actually. It was lovely, yeah.
Okay, now I'm just so honoured that I've made you guys chocolate cake. Would you mind if I dish for you? Because, you know, they'll tell you I'm amazing in the kitchen.
It looks really amazing. But we have somebody on the line. Togo, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
How are you? Welcome to Afternoon Express.
Oh, thank you. I'm fine, thanks. And yourself?
I'm good. Do you have a question for one of our guests?
Yes.
Please go ahead.
Yes, Mr. Joe Mafela.
Yes,
Ligay Papa.
rating Maligai.
You know, I'm such a big fan. The first time I saw you, it was when you were doing your music video at our school. I was attending in Senescat at Lanseria.
Okay.
That is when I fell in love with, like, the TV thing. When I
Okay.
saw you, when you were shooting your music video there, like I was watching from the sidelines and the school children were dancing to your song and you were shooting with them.
Yes, at St. Angus. Yes.
Yes, that's an Angus. I was a student there.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yes.
Thank you for your call, Togo. I really, really appreciate you sharing these memories with us. I mean, it must be so nostalgic for you. How do you remember all that detail?
Oh, gosh, man, yeah.
It
We
takes
shot
a
the
lot.
video there, St. Angus. Well, my 2 boys were attending school there. So I said, Shebeleza, let's go to St. Angus and do it for the children. You know, so-
Lovely.
You see, at our age, it's not the long-term memory. That's fine. It's the short-term memory.
What's my name, Ryan? I'm joking.
I just did an interview with you just now. You remember me?
I want to chat to Maddie, who also gave us a call.
Maddie,
Maddie,
yeah.
welcome to the show.
Hello, Maddie.
Hi.
Welcome to Afternoon Express. Do you have a comment or a question?
Yeah, I just want to tell you, Hein, that thanks to him and Noot, my granddaughter who is now 28, and watched Noot from when she was a very small girl can now speak Afrikaans very well.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful.
Yeah, thank you so much for a beautiful show and for being who you are.
Oh, thank you for calling in. Really appreciate that. Thank you.
Very welcome.
Sure, thank you so much.
You guys get so much love from the country, both of you. Don't you feel like when you walk out into public and with you just get people who think they know you and then just love you and hug you?
I was about to ask you that. You
are
get
very
mobbed.
familiar.
Oh, like mad. Oh,
But you know what the problem is? It's not a problem. It will be a problem if it doesn't happen. Because, I mean, if you go out and somebody looks at you and says, oh, I know him, it's not the same as they come up and they say, hello, nice to see you, I watched your show. You want that to happen because you often get it, people say, but doesn't it bother you if they want to take photographs of you? Imagine if they don't want to do that.
Exactly.
I mean, what are we in this game for?
And you've got to be gracious enough to take every photograph as well.
Of course, yes. Even people that come with selfies.
Like me!
The millennials.
I attacked Johan for so many selfies earlier.
All right, guys, make sure you join us again tomorrow for Afternoon Express and get here early, especially if you are a new parent, because during the first 15 minutes of the show, we're chatting to leading pregnancy and parenting advisor, Sister Lillian. And for dinner, we're also making truffle pasta seared mackerel.
Yummy.
Sounds delicious.
Yeah.
Until tomorrow, good evening and happy eating.
Bye.
Ciao. Mwah. Bye.
This cake is delicious.
No, it's amazing. Have a big bite.
It looks incredible.
Coming up tomorrow on Afternoon Express, it's all about parenting as we're joined by South Africa's top baby and pregnancy expert, Sister Lillian, to chat about her journey and learn some valuable parenting tips.
Another feel-good production.
Hi YouTubers, thank you so much for watching. Your support means the world to us. Join the Afternoon Express family by subscribing to our channel right here. And we'll keep you up to date with all our recipes and of course our fabulous episodes. Also, feel free to leave a comment and share this video. We do love it when you express yourself.